Welcome back to Tazewell County, everybody. We've got, well, it's spring. In case you're wondering why, or it's a little hard to follow, yes, last time you remember it was fall. We were finishing up the harvest, and we got JD Tractors driving the John Deere around, getting ready to plant. It is a little bit cold yet. It's, on a farm where you don't have livestock, there's not a lot to do in the winter and early spring. Before planting season, well, in this game, in real life, you're getting planters ready. You're doing some last minute tractor maintenance, making sure everything's ready to go. Possibly so there's some preventative maintenance in there. There's stuff to get set up on the planter. So actually, while we're kind of fast forward and let's simulate that a little bit, I guess I'll grab a tractor and bring it out to the workshop with a planter and kind of open it up. If you're planting corn versus soybeans, there's different discs and basically mechanical parts that you put on there. You also have to adjust the seeding rate. On older planters, that's typically a gear. So the way that these planters work is when you lower them, there's actually, you know what, let's get this planter out and I'll show you how it works. How's that sound? We'll get in here in the tractor. Anyway, as I was saying, yeah, it's winter, it was fall, rather, the last time you guys saw the server, but and now it's spring. So if that feels like a jump to you, just realize we don't have animals and basically not a lot happened. Well, a lot happened. The guys did a lot of work. I don't want to make it sound like they didn't, but it's basically more of the same work. The guys farmed the crap out of the fields. I'll give you an overview after I finish backing up to this tractor here so you can kind of see how the farm has changed in a year. Whoops. I accidentally hit the tab button instead of Q. That does not work out too well. Let's go back to our tractor if we can find it. We got a truck all the way up there at the, I don't know where there's a truck all the way at the gas station. Okay, so we're gonna pull on out here, and let's just pull up to the shop. We'll unfold the planter, and I'll talk to you a little bit about how planters work and maybe just a few of the things you do before you plant in real life. So let's get on up here. And probably wouldn't want to go this way in real life depending on... Yeah, the planter could clear that just fine. Alright, here we go. If you need seed, JD Tractors, you might need... I think you have to use the seed tender. I don't think these planters work with the with that storage unit back there. Oh, they do. Awesome. Did not know that. That is good to know. All right, so let's unfold our planter here. And it's becoming night again. Like I said, we're trying to fast forward just a little bit until we get until the ground temps warm up. 50 Fahrenheit is the actually, let's turn the tractor back on so we can lower the planter with some hydraulics. There we go. And let's turn it off. Okay. So, a few things that you want to do is you're going to want to grease the parts that move, like the markers there if you're using the markers. There's typically several other grease points down there, like where the hydraulic lifter moves up, all those parts that move down there, depending on the type of wheels you have, I forget if you need to grease the wheel bearings. Basically anywhere where it moves, you have grease, unless it's like a sealed bearing or something like that. So you gotta grease things. Also, if you're switching from corn, let's alt in here. I can't alt in yet. If you're switching from like corn to soybeans or something like that, or depending on the seed type you're using, you have little finger pickups on the inside of the planter there. It's basically right underneath the planter box here on a mechanical planter. So this is not a vacuum planter. I don't actually know how a vacuum planter works. I mean, I know in theory it uses a vacuum suction instead of to bring seed down to the planter. I don't actually know how it works though. The inner workings of the actual box. But on a mechanical planter here, you have little finger pickup units underneath the box there. So if you're switching from corn to soybeans, each of those pickup units, well, based on the seed size, really, those fingers, if you imagine a literal finger, like your finger on your palm, I mean, not finger on your hand, rather, That's kind of what it looks like. It's just a little finger that picks up one seed and only one seed. So it kind of has to be spaced out for whatever size of seed you're using. And that's what it uses to drop into the soil. And so that way it ensures that it's getting one seed every time, but only one seed. It's not getting multiple seeds. And that is all driven based on a sprocket gear system. So, for example, when you lower the planter, that's why this planter is on when it's lowered. Because as soon as you lower it, I don't think they modeled it, but you have like a drive wheel connected to these other wheels that when the planter lowers, that drive wheel engages and it turns the rest of the gears that drop the seed into the ground when the planter is lowered. So there's greasing stuff there. Like on our side of the planter over here, for example, of that sprocket gear. Actually, is that? What is this? I don't know what this. Oh, that's probably the liquid fertilization system from those tanks there, right? So anyway, well, basically, right where that line is for the liquid fertilization, that's about where the shaft is going across the planter for our Kenzie. What we got? A Kenzie 2000. Oh, too bad we don't have soybeans left. Let's actually look at those prices real quick. So we got soybeans at slightly higher there. You're gonna notice a little inconsistency with prices based on me making the prices realistic about well right there in the fall. That's why it looks lower. So the rest of that's gonna be fake. That graph's gonna even out. It's not actually gonna be that high. However, I realized that well, it's kind of a long story, but basically I had the yield set wrong for our server, and they were like half of what happens in real life. And so I've fixed those. For the map you guys have, the public 1.0, it's fine. For the version I've uploaded to Giants, it's fine. It's just because I played with our map too much. So that's a little wrong. So the prices are a little bit fixed now. So the yields rather are fixed now. Anyway, getting back to that, there's sprocket. Since it's driven based on a mechanical gear system, in order to change the seed population, so when you plant soybeans, it's something like 140,000 seeds per acre. For corn, it's something like 30,000 seeds per acre. So obviously, you need to slow down this drive shaft that drops the seed into the ground, which means you need to change the gear ratios. So you take off gears, you take off a chain, you put on the correct gear ratios. The book tells you what gear ratios to put onto the planter. And then it's basically all set up for corn. After greasing things, you also have to, for corn planting, precision is incredibly important. So you have the planter hooked up with something, we use something called a Seed Sense 2020. It measures our singulation. Remember how I talked about the fingers that pick up the seed there? You want only one seed dropping every single time that you want a seed. You don't want multiple seeds, and you don't want skips. All those are calculated in a little computer up there in the tractor, and it also measures your downforce. So each one of these boxes has a downforce pressure that is going to be applied into the ground. And for other crops, this is not as important, but for corn, it is very, very important because downforce pressure ensures that you have proper depth, and depth is very important for corn seeds, because you want all of your corn sprouting from the ground within 24 hours of each other. Otherwise, the yield's going to be very stunted. So this is very tricky on a mechanical planter because if you put too much downforce, you have extra compaction, and that's bad. If you put too little, then if you go over extra bumps in the field, or if you try to, if you have an uneven or a rough spot in the field, it gets a little bit bumpy. The planter box lifts up a little bit, and so then that corn, for that instant, is going to be higher in the ground than the surrounding corn, and it'll sprout before the rest of the corn, and that's bad. So you want to make sure you have proper downforce. And mechanical planter, that's adjusting springs, which is a pain in the butt, I tell you. I can personally attest to that. However, if you have one of the nice modern planters, you just come up here and set a button for what you want in the cab, and everything works out here nice and perfectly and automatically, and they automatically adjust themselves based on the field conditions. It's a nice little feature. And then the final step is filling up with seed. So on a planter like this, That involves you taking off each of those boxes, bringing over a sack of seed, and filling it up for us. If you have a really nice seed tender, Cat doesn't have the seed tender. Someone will probably need the seed tender at some point. But if you have a nice little seed tender like we have, and then typically smaller farmers with just boxes like this don't have a seed tender. But I have seen some farmers use it just because if you read the labels for seed corn, it basically says handle it with gloves, have on a respirator, don't let it touch your skin. It's nasty stuff. They have a coating on the seed that basically keeps insects away, and it gives it a little bit of a, depending on the seed, some type of a fertilizer on there as well, sometimes. But normally it's to, normally it's to keep the seed safe until it sprouts. So, you know, it is a little bit nicer to have a seed tender where you put a little, you know, you basically put the little spout of the seed tender right there. They typically have longer extensions where you can drop it right into the box there, turn it on for a second or two, that's all it takes, and then move on. And indeed, because basically every time you put seed in these hoppers, to make things work smoothly, to make the planter work near 100% accuracy, typically on our older planter, we see about 98 to 99% singulation, which is really good for an old mechanical planter. But we see that only when we go 5.8 miles an hour. Any slower, any faster, we are not getting near as good accuracy. Every planter kind of has a sweet spot that you have to figure out based on your tractor there. We're gonna skip night here and pretend we're sleeping for the next day. Hopefully it's up to 50 degrees and we can plant some corn. Corn, you don't want to plant it when the ground is cold or wet because it can rot, and that's a bad thing. So, to make the planter working smoothly, we're gonna lift up the planter here and back up a little bit. Cat's gonna top us off. I think we're gonna go over to the edge of the field probably. Cat's gonna top us off. I'm gonna be planting field 1. I'm not sure what the other guys are planting. But remember, last year the odd fields were soybeans. This year the odd fields are gonna be corn. So I'm gonna head to 1 and we're gonna plant field 1. And there we go. For those who are not familiar, yeah, we're gonna have a little bit of rain here. And we're also not quite ready. Probably by tomorrow, I would imagine we'd be ready to start planting. Yeah, it won't really germinate. Anyway, as the ground is cold there, you don't really want to plant because the seed can rot. It's not the best. So I actually haven't fixed the markers yet on this planter. I got really tired of fixing things. So we're gonna just kind of park it on the edge of the field up here, get it ready to go. And yeah, I realize I'm using the mouse and keyboard, but we also don't want to drive on the field while it's muddy here. That's gonna unnecessarily compact it and make a lot of mud chunks. So let's just kind of leave it right here. We'll line up later after it stops raining and the ground dries out. But just to finish that thought, the other nice thing about using the seed tender, so for example, my neighbor was telling me he has it all hooked up when he uses the seed tender, that he has graphite automatically mixed in with his corn seed. And the reason you want graphite, especially on a mechanical planter, I think you want it on all types of planters actually, but I only know about mechanical planters. It really makes the wheel and those finger pickups and the drive units work smoothly. When we use graphite, we get almost 100% perfect accuracy. When we don't use graphite, the accuracy wanes to like 95%. It's just not good. That all adds up over all your acres, and it's not good. Cat, yeah, as soon as we get the rain done here, I'll pull out onto the field, and then that'll give Cat plenty of room to line up right next to us, behind us, and just top us off so we can just plant for all day. And, yeah. All right, welcome back, everybody. It is spring again. We had a few hiccups. We realized that we weren't doing maintenance, and our combine was somehow costing $36,000 per day. So I have, I don't know how that would ever be realistic. So I've basically given us some of that money back, and we briefed everybody on maintenance considerations. Kat's gonna, right there, you see her. She's gonna be taking over the maintenance of equipment, making sure that that is all handled. Let's see, how should we do this session? That is not, well, you know what? Those we could actually plant long rows and turn around. So I think here we're actually gonna plant some more end rows. And then we always want as many long rows as possible, but we always want to leave enough room for the combine to turn around on. We're going to try not to run over a cat, although I think our planter will. Yeah, we'll just pretend that didn't happen. So we've got, I think we might be able to get away with 12 end rows here. And, you know, this is a common practice when you own the little section of land over on the other side of your end rows, and you can use that to turn around the combine, for example. You generally want to minimize your end rows. They are not the best yielding, so I think we're going to try to get away with only one set there. And if we go to actually plant this field and we find that that's not enough room to turn around on, we might just plant another set there, but I think that's good for now. Let's go up here and start our long rows. We'll plant down to the other end of the field. We'll plant those end rows, and then we'll go on from there. Michael is more than welcome to plant this field with me. He can also go start planting something else. This field, I think I already said it, but remember, our odd fields are going to be corn this year. Our even fields are going to be soybeans, and based on the layout, that's going to mean we're going to have a lot more corn this year for harvest than last year. Last year was kind of, well, most of the fields were soybeans. That's just the way that it worked out. That's just the way that it works out sometimes in real life. So, well, yeah, we want this. We want about, like, there? I think that looks pretty straight. We don't want an offset. We, I think we want it about there. Okay. So there we go. We've got our course play set up now. Not course play. Course play's horrible. We've got compared to these guys, course play is pretty horrible. Course play is a good tool if you don't have people to play with. But I have people to play with. All right, let's start planting. And I did not drop that planter in time. We're gonna go back and fix that. I've rarely had to do this in real life, but for some reason it always seems like I do this when I'm recording. Alright, let's just start back there because of the angle. And there we go. So we'll lift up there. We don't want to replant over what we already planted. Let's stop and lower right there. Okay, so let's take off. Let's minimize our lines. I should really... The stuff I use most common with GPS, I should really either figure out the hotkeys or reprogram to ones that I know. I should really do that. Is it, you know, for some reason, some things I just never take the time to go learn. Looks like everybody's planting corn, which is an awesome thing. I think, how long have I been recording now? 53 minutes. Yeah, what you're watching at this point is not 53 minutes because, I made mistakes and spent a lot of time figuring things out. So, yeah, your episode's going to be cut a little short. We got Troiker Matt up there. These are finishing prepping field 21. We got JD Tractors down there. Looks like he's planting corn on field number 9. And looks like Michael's going to start planting down there on field number, what is that? Field number 7, which is also corn. So right here, since I don't have the end rows planted yet, I'm actually going to stop for what looks about like two planter widths. And then I will, yeah, that's about 2 planter widths. Oh, look at that. He's already got, looks like he's already got the end rows planted there. Nice and pretty. Whoops. There we go. Go back a little bit more. Those are beautiful end rows. Now we're going to go back forward. And just remember, Michael, I don't think it was you who did this, but somebody, I don't know who, and I'm not trying to call out names or anything, but 1 second, let me bring it up here. Just remember, if you look at the map for field number, what is that? Field number 7 and 6, they're a little bit tricky. That little sliver of 6, it's actually part of 6. It's not part of 7. So just watch that when you're planting field number 7. Actually, when I finish this field, I'll probably start planting field number 6. Just, he might be AFK Cat. I don't know. But I think I'll start and switch to field number 6 with some soybeans there, just to kind of set the boundary. Just so people are positive. I think I told everybody on the server that difference, but just in case I didn't. And stop. You know, for I wonder if we shouldn't cut down some of those trees, tear up that fence, and make that farmland since we don't have pigs. Oh, that's right. That's going to be Cat's racetrack eventually. We're going to have a little fun on the farm eventually. I'm going to make a racetrack. We're going to soup up a lawnmower. We're going to soup up a lawnmower, put some huge tires on it. We're going to be a little bit redneckish and give the tractor like 800 horsepower. And basically we're going to have some races out there, some jumps. And we're going to have a leaderboard with whoever has the fastest time around the track. It's going to be a great time to relax around the farm. So that'll be a fun little addition there. And this is where if I had GPS, it would be great to have known when I could have stopped my planter. Actually, I probably should have gone until 1 end row's width, not 2. So if we had GPS auto shut off, that would be great, but we don't, so we just got to run right through it. Waste just a little bit of extra seed. Yield is a little bit not as ideal. But now we have our end rows set up. We should be able to go full out. Whoops, I did not mean to press that button. I meant to press that one. And should be, we're a little bit off there, so. Oh, I guess I was already lowered. I guess I'll just keep going. I thought I was raised still. I don't know when I got lowered. Alright, well, yeah, so this is corn planting. I think, oh boy. I think I'm gonna stop and let someone else finish this field. Is there another planter? Let's see. Cat, when you get done with maintenance on that tractor, can you hook it up to another planter? I want to just plant the outlines of field number 6, just to kind of set it up so people know the best way to do it. Yeah. I think I want to do that. Sorry, I'm just I'm thinking a little bit. Yeah, just yeah. I don't think I ever got over to that section. So that'd be great. If there we go. Are you setting that up for me now by chance? Actually, that'd be good. And then you know what? You could actually take this tractor and you could actually do maintenance on this one. Looks like she's stopping or she setting that one up with soybeans and fertilizer and stuff. I'm not quite sure. Maybe she'll chat. Maybe she'll tell me. Maybe. She doesn't tell me I'm gonna go. Should we go another round? Oh, okay, this is for me. Okay, we're stopping. Okay, so someone else can finish corn planting on this field. I will set up. Man, she's yelling at me. I guess you have to yell with these tractors. These old tractors are so loud. I do apologize. My voice is a little bit hoarse. I don't really know what's going on. It's I think with all the talking I do, I wouldn't get so hoarse so often, but it's noisy tractor exactly. Why? Oh, there we go. There we go. All right, we are. We have soybeans. So let's go plant some soybeans. Oh yeah, that's what you say. All right. Going on down to start field 6. Just to make sure I'm thinking about it right, odd is corn, even is soybeans. Yes, we're doing it right. We got Michael there going along, just starting the long rows for field number 7. It's cornfield, whatever it is. It's definitely a cornfield. All right, so I guess we'll start with oh. Uh-oh. Someone may have made a bit of a whoopsie. If I'm looking at this right. Yeah. So it looks like someone may have accidentally planted part of field 7 with corn. I mean, field 6 with corn. Definitely looks planted. That's weird. Let's go on over and look at this a little bit. Because it looks like they also started planting this side. Yeah, that's kind of weird. Planted along there too. Well, we have interesting things going on. Well, someone, we got a phantom planter that okay, got it. I guess that was this one. No worries. Hey, you didn't have to admit it. Nobody would have known the difference. I definitely appreciate it though. No problem. That's I guess we'll just say that happened. We will it's not really that huge of a problem. I think we'll just leave it planted, and when we go to harvest field 6, we will just kind of we'll just kind of continue from field 6 to there. But I think we'll go down. We'll see how turnaround with only one set of end rows is. Well, yeah, so it'll be 12 end rows there. We're just going to see how that is. All right, so here we go. We're going to outline this field for the guys. And then, after I get done here, unfortunately, this is going to be a short episode because I had a lot of time when I was figuring out our little maintenance issue. So I think I'm going to have to be done at this time. But I will have more time next week. This week's just a little bit hectic at the moment. So let's set up our GPS line to go straight. And there we go. So we'll back up and line it up straight. And go on straight from here. If I can hit spacebar. There we go. Let's get down to 10. And why are we over far enough? I don't think that's over far enough. It looked like a GPS path was fine. I'm sure some. Oh, were you asking Trucker Matt? Yeah, I think you were just talking to Trucker Matt. All right, so let's. There we go. That looks a little better, I think. No, we need the lines back. Why is? Oh, it was set to a different. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Okay. We're getting a little bit fixed here. Yeah, I don't know if you caught what I said, Trucker Matt, but don't worry about disking up this field. We'll just leave the corn that's planted in the ground. We don't want to waste the seed, and we'll just mistakes have happened in real life. Sometimes, for example, I'll talk about that a little bit because I do typically talk about how you plant fields separate for seed purposes and stuff, and also accounting for the yield. You typically plant and harvest fields separately. However, so for example, fields 7 and 8, we typically actually plant those together, but then we know the acreage of field 8, and we harvest it separate. But for planting, we actually plant it together, and then we know the acreage, we know our seed population per acre, because it's the same for those fields. The soil types are the same, just on the little bit of 8 as the same part of field 7 there. So we basically keep that the same, but then we harvest them separate. So sometimes you can actually plant fields together, even if you harvest them separate. Harvest has to be separate, especially for those fields, because that's actually different landlords there. So what we're going to do here is we're actually going to lift up our planter, go across the waterway a little bit, and then we're going to go straight down to here, because this is actually field number 6. So now Michael knows he can plant everything to the south of where I'm at. So this will be the furthest north I go, or no, this will be the furthest south I go for field number 6. And you can see how it kind of lines up, that other section on the other side of the waterway. It lines up right where I'm at to right on that other side. And that's just the way the fields are drawn out. The waterway is kind of just a byproduct of nature, but they drew out the field with straight lines. It's kind of an interesting feature in the middle of the fields here. Pretty soon, not sure how so it looks like the other guys are fine on fertilizer, but we're all kind of getting down there somewhat low. Eventually, Cat's going to have to come out and fill us all up with fertilizer again. Typically run out of fertilizer before seed, I think. Although with soybeans, with a really high seeding rate. All right, no worries, JD Tractors. Thanks a lot. He had to run there quickly. It's not a problem. Left the tractor right there in the middle of the field to show others what he's kind of doing, and no sense returning a tractor home when the job it needs to do is right there in the middle of the field. Here, if I remember correctly, we had a little bit of problems with the unowned texture, so I'm going to stop like here. We're going to go around and plant what we can. And you can kind of see where the difference was there in the field texture. We're actually looking to buy field 14 next. Good old Duffelmeyer farm. All right, gotta straighten it out. There we go. And let's see if we don't get the message here. So far, so good. So far, so good. Okay, I think we're good. So now then, if we remember, field 6 is going to be corn this year, so we don't want to plant up there. So we're going to want to stop. You can definitely see the guys did a good job with the spraying. They only what's that? That's the cultivation layer. I forget what that is, but right about there. And actually, since this is our field and it's not planted yet, we're going to go out and turn around on it. Oh, no, my planter was lowered. Oh, shoot. How did that happen? I could have sworn I erased that. Look at that. Everybody makes mistakes. So we're just going to pretend that didn't happen. Well, I mean, it did happen, but we're not going to cultivate it up. It's, yeah. Sometimes you have ugly things happen. Fortunately, we own that other field. And that small amount of planting is not the end of the world. It doesn't look as nice. It could cause problems spraying, especially if you try to spray the corn with some pesticides. It'll probably kill the soybeans there in the corner, but it's not the end of the world. All right, here we go. And I am going to head back just so it's pretty clear that this is planted ground, and then I'll probably have to stop. There we go. I might actually start planting that other side just so they know the field boundary. I don't know, but it looks like they got the other side under control. Yeah, look at that. Oh, looks beautiful. Hopefully we'll pass Michael. He's about ready to turn around and come on the way back. It is, I tell you, it's so much fun. It's so enjoyable to see other players out there farming. It just, you know, in real life, you'd obviously see them further off in other fields. Not, okay, well, that's kind of, okay. Technically, I should have stopped there and lifted up while we go over the waterway. I was a little bit late on cruise control there, but anyway, as I was saying, it's just really enjoyable to see other players playing on the server, farming. It just feels so much more like real life. You know, like I was saying, in real life, you'd see them further off in other fields, like over there. You wouldn't see them obviously farming your field. It's so immersive to see other players out there farming. You know, course play can't really do the same thing that a human can. It's so awesome. Okay, let's stop. We'll lift up all the way, and we'll continue on the waterway. I think this will give people a pretty good idea how to plant this field. I think, just for good measure, we'll continue down the other side. We'll do one more round, so I should probably start saying goodbye now, actually. Oh, man, my voice is just, I don't know. Should I go see a doctor? It's like, I feel like if I talk more than half an hour, my voice just starts getting hoarse. And it's been that way for, I don't know, it's been that way for a month now. So I do apologize about that. My beautiful, crisp, clear voice. I believe that is Trucker Matt. He's cultivating up there in field 20, whatever. He should be bringing it back home when he gets done. Yeah, 21. He'll be bringing it back home, and you can swap it out for maintenance. Because actually, it's not really needed for planting that much. These smaller tractors handle these planters just fine. After it gets done cultivating, it's basically done for until we need it for the auger wagon. And I am already down to 60% soybeans. Just like in real life, these planters suck down the soybeans. Like, I tell you, in real life, it feels like you do about 2 or 3 trips across the field, and then you have to stop and refill with soybeans. It's one of the less enjoyable crops. And then harvesting soybeans, well, not only do they have as much yield as corn, but it's sometimes really frustrating getting the soybeans to go into the combine, especially if it's wet at all. Like, so they're not really enjoyable either season. And, you know, my brother and I basically invented a new curse word, and it's called beans. That's what we use. Actually, is there gonna be? Let's leave that strip there. That's close enough. Yeah. So we say beans because that's how frustrating soybeans are sometimes. It's just they're not fun. Beans. Exactly. It's a curse word that Mom approves of. Beans. It's just, they're no fun. If you've ever harvested them in real life, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. During the harvest, actually, if I didn't get to drive the combine for any beans, but if I harvest the beans, Trucker Matt can attest to that. During the harvest, I'll talk a little bit about the frustrations of harvesting beans, and like I said, for planting, it's just if you know, unless you have a bigger planter with a big old tank up there in the front, it's just a pain in the butt. You gotta stop. It feels like it's basically like, what, every hour or something like that. You have to stop and fill the planter up. Wait, what? We don't have any fire ants in Illinois. I actually thought, I actually never really knew much about fire ants until I moved to Texas, to tell you the truth. Oh, Arkan bats. Arkan bats. Arkansas, yeah. Arkansas, I know. Yeah, beans. Yeah, that's about beans for you. Let's see if we can get a better gear here. I think 11 is a little bit better for planting. Oh, maybe 12. Can we do 12? Yeah, 12's the gear we want to be in. Get the RPM a little bit lower. And there goes Michael. In real life, we can plant, and again, this is all dependent on your planter, but just the way the fingers work and they feed in, we can actually plant soybeans, it seems, a little bit faster than corn. So we typically plant beans around 6.5 miles an hour. Corn, it works best at 5.8 for us. That's when our singulation is best. We have the least amount of skips. Our spacing is the best. 100% good ride, as the meter says. All right, so we'll raise here, and I guess we'll kind of stick with this theme of doing 2 trips on both sides. We'll stay over on this side. Well, maybe just to make it awful clear, let's go over to this side, just so people know how to plant the field, in case it's not blindingly obvious. Yeah, 6.1. Yeah, so that's pretty close. It's just the way the mechanical trucker bed. Do you have an air seeder, or do you have a mechanical planter? I wanna join chat again so I can talk with him about that. I actually don't know how. The beginning of the episode, I was talking about how I don't know how an air seeder works. When I know the basic principle, but yeah, vacuum. Do they still have? So is vacuum just for getting it from the central take into the individual rows, and then it still has like a finger pickup unit from there? Or does vacuum control everything, including the mechanism that it uses to drop it into the ground? That's the part I don't know about. Or maybe there's both types. That's what I don't really know about vacuum planters. Look at that. We're just inside of Michael, just within clipping distance. It just brings the map to life to see other tractors out there driving. All right, we'll do this properly. So we pull out all the way. We'll lift up just to minimize wear and tear on the planter, and we also don't want to waste seed. And then we'll stop and lower and go on through. It has a seed disc that the vacuum pulls the seed to. Okay, and when it gets to a certain point on the rotation, the vacuum stops and drops the seed. Oh, okay. Okay, got it. So it is an entirely different system, yeah. That's awesome. So it's, oh, okay. Yeah, our planner, I don't know, for a mechanical planner, like I was saying at the beginning of the episode, ours is really good. When we told the who was it, the the Beck Seed guy was asking about our rate, and our accuracy was 98 to 99% on a really old Kinsey mechanical drive system, and that's a lot of graphite to make sure things are working smoothly, and it's also picking the best speed out there. But it was, for corn, it was pretty awesome. It was 98, 99% accurate, which is really good for an older unit. There's actually, I was looking at the statistics for Tazewell County, and that actually beat out some vacuum seed planters, some planters that use vacuum. So it's really, really good. There's Michael trucking along. Well, not trucking, tractoring. Tractoring along. Oh yeah, I bet. Yeah. Yeah, I would imagine. Actually, I don't really know. Cottonseed. Those are kind of. Actually, I don't know what a cottonseed looks like. I tell you, this is what I love about Farming Simulator. I want to talk with Trucker Matt a while, in the future. I'm sure we'll have a lot of cool conversations about this. But small, round, and purple. It's just so fascinating, like all the different types of farming out there, and the differences just between a couple states over in the same country. It's fascinating. Well, yeah, we'll talk about rice. That'll be awesome. Anyway, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody on the server who's listening to me ramble on in Discord, and I think we're about done here. I've got to go. If I wasn't traveling and my wife wasn't traveling, and then I wouldn't see my wife for about 2 weeks now, since I'm traveling and she's traveling. So I'd probably try to be on here for longer, but right now, yeah, it's time's a little tight, and I probably took up a little bit too much time because I want to see her before I have to leave and she has to leave. And I'll be back on later, though. I will try my best to record an episode for Wednesday. We might still be in spring. I don't know. It might be summer. Like I said, I typically try to, show you guys at least something from each season. So, it might be summer. I would imagine it'd probably still be spring, the next time for the next episode. Unless you miss Wednesday. If I miss Wednesday's episode, then nothing. But, like I said, I will be more available next week. So, yeah, I will. I'll see you guys all later. We're gonna break records with a goodbye here, I think. Unless I said I was gonna say goodbye sooner, a lot sooner, then it's not a record-breaking episode. But this is goodbye for now, guys. I do have a January update coming soon. It might be after January, but I did a long time ago. Okay, well. Okay, so I guess this is a really long goodbye then, so we're not breaking any records. I'll say goodbye now, though. And like I said, I'll try to get a January update out, but based on my schedule, there might miss January. It might be a early February update. So anyway, look for that, and I'll see you guys later. Thanks for everything. Until then, if you haven't subscribed, be sure to subscribe if you enjoy. And if you do enjoy and you're a subscriber, be sure to go onto my home YouTube page and click the little bell icon. It'll notify you of every single episode I produce. If you love me, and if you don't love me, then there's a lot of other really good YouTubers out there like Mark DuPont and Ian Robinson and Farmer Klein and Grizzly Bear Sims and many others that I can't think of. So anyway, until next time, guys. See you later.